I'm teaming up with psychic medium Tammy Schuster, and we're exploring a haunted ghost town along the Miami-Erie Canal.
But I felt like I was going to be pulled
Yeah,
over.
it's like
It was weird.
Darkness is down
Yeah.
there.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Josh again, and I'm at a very familiar place that I visited and explored a few months back, if you remember those videos, in Providence. But this time, I'm not exploring alone. I'm exploring with psychic medium Tammy Schuster. How's it going, Tammy?
Hi.
So a lot of times when we do these videos, I'm not telling Tammy what the places are all about until you tell us what you're feeling, right?
Right.
Today's a little different because you already saw the first video.
Yes.
So you know all about Providence,
Yes.
Ohio. It's a ghost town. Actually, the site we're standing is where the old hotel used to be standing. This was a huge hub on the Miami-Erie Canal. Last time we got a lot of background kind of chattering voices. Well, how are you describing that?
Like a loop. It
Yeah.
just says like a loop. It plays over and over again, like something that's real familiar to them.
Almost kind of like a residual
Yeah.
sound. It was really, really weird. But if you want to watch that video, we'll link to that video down in the description. But this time around, we're doing a similar exploration video, this time with psychic medium Tammy Schuster, seeing what you're picking up.
Yeah, but I drove my husband crazy when we watched your video the last time.
Mhm.
I kept rewinding. I was describing this man. I said, don't you see him? I see this person. He's kind of got a uniform on, but it's not a uniform on, and he's like a clown, and he's a commentator. And then you went across the signs, and you like hit the person, and I had described this person in this plaque.
So it's over here,
Yes.
this plaque over here. All right, let's flip this around.
Yes.
You said it's over here, right?
Yep, and I drove my husband crazy. So figure it out, Josh. I described him as kind of a uniform, but not a military uniform, and he kind of was like the commentator. He just kind of talked about everyone. Can you find him?
I'm guessing this guy right here.
Yes. And I just like froze it, and I was describing to my husband, and I drove him crazy, and we watched it. I just kept freezing it, rewinding it, snapping pictures.
So that's who you were visioning?
Yes.
You made the vision?
I was explaining to him what this guy looked like. I said, can't you see him right there? And my husband's like, where? And then when you were talking, and then you walked this path, and it's on my iPad at home. But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
It is crazy. And I said, it's like a uniform, but it's not a military uniform, but it's a uniform, and he would be like a showman or something like that. And that was before you even got to the Orville. And then you panned over here, and I'm like yelling, oh my God, there he is, there he is. And it was like I described it. He's in a uniform, but it's not a military uniform. And then it said that he was like a common, like he was the one that brought people in.
That's crazy. That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So this site right here where I parked the gray ghost, by the way, look at all the, I don't know if this is coming up on the camera,
That's so cool.
but there's actually steam coming up off the parking lot. But this is where the Oberly Hotel used to be, back on the Erie Canal, Miami-Erie Canal. And behind me, where I'm panning over here, this is the Miami-Erie Canal. So this structure right here used to stand right here. And I remember when I was a kid, we'd come out here. This was actually turned into the Sportsman's Club. A lot of the old school guys like to go down there and drink, but you know, one of the things about the Miami-Erie Canal was that, you know, I compared it to a truck stop. So you'd have a lot of prostitution based out of this. You'd have a lot of crime, theft. I'm sure there were murders. I'm sure there were other things going on that probably are not all that glamorous.
Oh, without a doubt.
So, I mean, are you picking up anything from this area? As I know we've been together all day.
There's a lot of like excitement, and I don't know if it's like from this area yet, or actually seeing the picture of the person. When you can describe something off of your video, and I'm describing it to my husband, and then you came across a sign, I was like in my house jumping up and down, him, that's the one I just described to you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see it, and then there's a great big huge turtle down there.
There's a turtle?
Yeah, there's a big turtle.
Oh my God,
right there.
look at the turtle. Let's see if we can zoom in on the turtle.
There's a big turtle down there. It just
Look at
caught my eye. That is so cool. Super
Welcome to Northwest Ohio. All right, so as we're moving around, if you guys remember from last time, this is the Miami-Erie Canal. Down there is where they do the canal boat rides. And up here is the actual lock. And next to the lock is the mill.
And the other side of the mill is where you were that I picked that guy up. Is that close to where you were when you did your audio last time?
The audio was up on the front porch, which I'll show you when we get up here.
That's where you were in your video, and you hadn't come down here yet. So when you were on your video up there, that's when I started describing this man to my husband.
Okay.
As from your video up here. And I think that's where you caught the loop. So somehow that guy has to be connected to all of this.
I would imagine, because, you know, those guys all worked this lock. And if you look at the old pictures, this lock was actually This whole canal was almost double the size. It actually went over to that road.
Somehow he's like the ringleader, though. Like he would have been involved in, I think, a little bit of everything. Because, like I said, he was like the, I don't know, just the entertainer, the connector. Like he would have been involved in everything.
So this is Providence, Ohio. This is the Miami-Erie Canal, lock number 44. They do a lot of tours over here. Like I said in the last video, really the canal system pretty much went out of business just as it was finished, because as you can see right there, you see the railroad. And railroad put the canals out of business. That put Providence, the ghost town, well, it wasn't the ghost town at the time, but the village of Providence actually went under because there's a big cholera outbreak around here. The village burned down and a lot of people just died,
Right.
moved out. And actually land was plotted out way down that way, where now it's just all fields and
But I don't,
multi-million-dollar houses.
I don't get like sickness and death and stuff here. I still get the entertainment, the enthusiasm. So when it was thriving, it had to be like, you know, booming and very energetic and very, and somehow I'd like to find out how that man connects to everything. Because somehow there's a connection to him. Like he feels like the personal guide to everybody around here.
Do you feel his energy here?
Yeah, it's
right
a
now?
very excitement, and it's very, that's why I said he's still connected here, even though the plaque and stuff is there. I feel him more here than I felt him over there.
Yeah.
So the excitement, and I think because when it plays on a loop, they still view it in their days. They don't see it the same way we see it. It's still their excitement and the energy's still there, and it's still vibrant for them. That's why you got the loop. They're still playing it. And in the loop, there were so many people talking because it's still a hopping place. It's not the death and the destruction and the ghost town that you talk about.
Interesting. This is all.
It's got very good energy here.
So where we're walking right now is the tow path. This is where the mules would have been towing the canal boat. We walk around and yeah, I was just sitting up there on that bench. So then I was looking at this. You guys remember from that last video. So I can see how this would have been an exciting area though, because you've got...
Yeah, but so now this is separate from outside, so whoever that person was wouldn't have been responsible for the inside. So they don't have him in here at all. He would have been responsible for the outside, keeping things moving on the outside, making sure everyone's having a good time, moving them from place to place, because he's not in here. Like this is a totally different feel. This is more like they had fun out there, they worked in here. It's so much, the energy is so different. Like the feeling from outside to in here is way different.
I think this is just the old foreman's office.
You know you're supposed to do that, right? Every time you walk in the door with the horseshoe, you're supposed to tap
Oh, really?
it. Yeah.
Oh.
This is decision, but you're supposed to. You see, I feel like this is a totally different, it's connected, but this is totally different than outside.
It's a cool old office.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this must have been their supervisor's office or something.
You have to be able to feel the difference.
It does, yeah. Well, I feel it's definitely hotter in here.
Well, yeah,
But it does, yeah, it does feel like...
Isn't it heavy?
Yeah.
Heavy is like work and burden. So the heavy, when you feel heavy, a lot of times it's work and
Wait,
burden.
I never hit the...
Yeah, you should always, when you go into a place that has a horseshoe, you're supposed to tap it for good.
I thought you were knocking to see if you could go in.
No, I was hitting horseshoe.
You ever see it down here?
No. Oh God. This is not a happy place. People that work here were not happy like they were out in the other places. So outside along the water in the hotel is definitely people enjoyed life, and here not so much.
I mean, I wouldn't want to work down here. Look how...
Well, it wasn't this dirty and yucky back then, but still. You just think these pages weren't there. They were out working in that stuff.
Right. I kind of wonder what they would be doing down here. Like what they would be working on.
The equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's the bottom of all the equipment that we just walked across. All the stuff that was down there. It seems like they would have been working on things. This isn't like a 9-to-5 job either. Like this is blood, sweat, and tear kind of job.
God, I'm short and I almost just hit my head.
I ducked because it said it was low.
I'm already low.
Not as low as your door. Yeah, this is a heaviness. Like, this is, I don't know how to describe it. It's like probably they would come to work and you wouldn't see them for days. You know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of, I don't know, unhappiness and long times there. Sad.
That's the first I've actually been able to get in there to record anything, so.
That's sad.
I don't know if we were supposed to or not, but we did. So this building I think is a relatively new building.
Yeah.
We can still go in there.
It's called neutral.
There's pictures, it'll kind of gives us.
If there's anyone that would know about the guy, or if there's more of a history of that guy. That guy has me intrigued because I want to know.
So in case you're wondering where we're at, we're still in Providence, Ohio. We actually just walked into their little like tourist center, information center or whatever. We were just at the Isaac Ludwig Mill. Tammy gave you her thoughts on that. Now she's checking over some of the history that they have written up on the walls in here.
This is all like.
Which is usually more than enough to cut through any sensor so it's going in here. Let's turn it on and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So here is our turbine.
It's cool because you've got all this history of Peter Manor. He was the one who actually founded Providence. You see old pictures of, turn this off, old pictures of the canal. That's where we were just standing.
And this is so cool because he writes about asking his brother to tell his mother he's been sick. And that people have died of, you know, how you talked about that earlier. So the reason, yeah.
So you guys might need to pause this so you can actually read this.
Very few boats running too on account of sickness. You have to tell mother where I am that I am well, but do not expect to be down before 2 weeks. Cholera broke out here and we had some 10 cases, which 4 died. The rest of yeah, that explains a whole lot over there.
There's no marked cemetery over here.
No.
Which kind of makes you wonder, like.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
they would remove the body so they could keep working. I mean, they're not going to bury him here. August 5th of 1854.
1854.
Yeah, August 5th. The way that it sounded, they were waiting for boats to take them. So.
Oh, so the boats would take the bodies?
That's what it sounded like. That would explain the heaviness over there because people were dying and they just left them until someone could come and remove them. I wonder if that basement that I said was so bad, I wonder if that's where they kept things until, that'd be something to find out.
Well, yeah, because they would have to store them somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. This over there is definitely happier than this. I had good energy until we walked into that mill and it was just like, oh my God, this is not good. It does not feel good. It feels like they're working them to death, that there's no break, that they just keep going and going and going, and very sad there.
Well, I think it makes sense too because you have that hotel, which was definitely a party spot for everybody.
Yeah.
They were drinking, they were doing whatever it is they were doing with the ladies that were selling whatever it is they were selling. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Alcohol, Josh?
Yes, alcohol, yes, selling alcohol and other things.
Prohibition.
I don't know, you want to try to set up at a picnic table and see if we can get anything?
We can. That mill was sad,
kind of.
Josh.
All right, so we got all the equipment set up. We're gonna try a quick EVP session. I've also got a REM pod that I just bought. So hopefully this will do something to us for us as well. You're gonna notice there's a temperature gauge on it. I think we should ignore that considering we're right in the sunlight. I don't think it's gonna do much. We got the MP3 recorder and the analog recorder, which you've seen me use both of these in previous videos.
I want to ask because we just like, were you part of the workers in the mill? Did you get sick? both of us felt, and that's why I kept asking you, how do you feel? It's not just me. When anyone walks into those places, you can feel, and that's where I tell people, trust your senses. Like, you know when you walk into a place if it's good or not good, and that was just so sad. And it just felt like they were there all the time, that if they worked and maybe got an hour or 2 hours of sleep a day and that was it, and they were right back. It just felt so sad and heavy, and that's why I asked you, like, it was just no one knew what anyone was doing and they just worked frantically. And I think you described like you felt chaos.
Yeah, I felt chaos. I kind of had a hard time focusing.
Yeah, it was very sad, very heavy. I felt like it took life out of a lot of people. If they didn't die from sickness, like that was their whole life. They definitely didn't get out here and enjoy the hotel or the women or the truck stop, as you call it. They definitely did a lot of work, and that was it. And then maybe a couple hours off, and that was it.
So we're thinking out here would have been, if you had a choice, if you could bid on your job, we're thinking it was out here somewhere.
Oh, 100%. But I don't feel like the people in the mill had the choice. We talked about that a little bit off camera too. I don't feel like it was a choice for them, or the hours were a choice for them.
Interesting.
Sad.
So we were just thinking, we really don't want to walk through the mill with the camera and all the equipment out, but what we're about to do is take the MP3 recorder. Does that work?
Yeah.
We're going to take the MP3 recorder in and just do kind of a stealth EVP session to see if we pick up any audio, because Tammy's feeling the basement. We're both feeling how heavy it is, and we're thinking that, man, if there's anything, it's probably going to be within that mill.
Yeah, 100%.
We're going.
So walking back in already, my shoulders are already starting to tense up, and we're not even inside yet. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Did you work in here? Can you just come up to us and talk? Did you get sick in here? Is this a different, don't you feel different here than over there? Like
Yeah.
light?
It doesn't feel as chaotic.
No.
It feels a little bit lighter.
Yeah. So we didn't walk in this part last time. So this feels way different. This is probably the new, I don't know if this is newer, but this doesn't have the same chaos as this has.
Oh, they shut the...
Oh, they did shut the basement. Can you tell us what they did in the basement? I think by 1949 everything had changed to the better, right? Must know. So now lean over, clear your head right here. Just clear your head, close your eyes. Okay, now lean over and do the same thing and close your eyes. Can't you just feel that?
Yeah.
It's in the basement, we can't get back down there. I told you it was down there.
That's crazy.
Just leaning over the edge of where we wanted to go back down to. If you clear your energy like I did, when I reached over there again, it was all that sadness that we had earlier. Standing up here, that shut, it's not the same.
So that's cool. So we got, on one part of the property, you're feeling a party, people are happy, people are excited.
Yeah.
People are working, they're probably working in tandem, they're working together to keep the canal going. But then when we go inside the old mill, we're feeling something totally different.
Yeah, like they were. It's almost like a death. That job was a death sentence. That's all they did was work themselves until they died. Like it was literally a death sentence.
And when we went back in for that last EVP session, I told you we weren't going to have the camera on. Just to make it a little easier as we were walking around there, also so we wouldn't get kicked out. We walked in, first thing we noticed, the feeling again, and also they shut the actual basement door.
We don't know if they did it or if something else did it.
So yeah, something did it, which was crazy.
They left the office doors open,
Yes.
The computer room was open, the upstairs was open, the main room was open, just the gate to the basement was
And
closed.
there was maybe 10 minutes between the time we went down there and went back. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit weird, the fact that somebody or something did not want us back down to that basement
Because
doing
there was
audio.
nobody in there.
And at one point, you had me looking over the edge because you could actually see through the top of the stairs of that
Yeah.
basement.
I had you clear your mind because I'm trying to teach you that you can feel the energy from the other side, the
Right.
sadness and the sorrow. So we cleared our mind, felt the energy of that, and then leaned over where we wanted to get to. And like literally, like you look totally different. I don't know how you felt, but your whole look changed.
I did feel like something was pulling me down.
Yeah.
That was really kind of weird. Like I felt like
Yeah.
if I don't know if I felt like I was gonna lose my balance, but even though the railing was up kind of high, so it's not like you
No,
lose your
you
balance and
couldn't.
fall
You wouldn't.
over,
You would have to
but that's
jump.
kind of how I felt. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's the Ghost Town of Providence Part 2. We got to do this psychic medium Tammy Schuster. It was a lot of fun. We got a completely different take on this compared to what we had last time. Make sure you follow psychic medium Tammy Schuster. You can follow her on Facebook, TammySchuster.com.
Yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah.
psychic medium Tammy Schuster.
Yes. Good
All
job,
right,
Josh.
there you go. And then of course Paranormal Exploring, and we'll be back with another video in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching. Hey, I got a really cool follow-up for you. So after we shot this video and as I was editing it, I found this old book that I have. It's actually called The Shades of Providence. And within it, it talks all about the ghost town of Providence, Ohio, and the people that built it. And in it, there are a bunch of pictures of different people who were involved in that. And you know in this video where Tammy kept referring to the guy that was kind of the ringleader, the foreman, keeping it all together? Well, as I found these pictures, I started texting Tammy, asking her if anybody looked familiar, if she spotted any one of these guys with what she was seeing. And she said yes. In fact, it turns out to be John Weckerly. He was the contractor in charge of building the Grand Rapids Dam, which is just upstream from the canal. According to this book, all of John Weckerly's materials to build the dam were shipped through the canal, and he was a big part of that. So John Weckerly, big name here in Northwest Ohio, he's the one that Tammy was seeing. So, mystery solved. If you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by October. Why? It's not for my ego. It's because we want to go YouTube live coming up Halloween from a haunted bed and breakfast. And to do so, YouTube requires 1,000 subscribers. All you have to do is hit subscribe down below and tell your friends. We'll see you next time.